On today's episode, could the Cubs sign Cody Bellinger, depending on what the Dodgers do with him? We grade relief pitcher Rowan Wick, and a whole lot more on this edition of Locked On Cubs.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in to Locked On Cubs. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Wednesday episode. Also, as we record here on a Tuesday evening, it is a Bears Victory Tuesday. We're very happy about that. But thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. And today it might be with you on a little bit of Bears as well. Sam, you're feeling pretty good, huh?
I'm juiced up. It's obviously a Cubs show, so I'm not going to, mention much about it, but let's just say this. That was the best Bears performance I've seen since Ronald Reagan told Mr. Gorbachev to tear down that wall. Man, did they look sharp last night. Whew.
And they checked a lot of boxes of progress, of the so-called moral victory. But guess what? It was a real victory. Oh, wow. Serenity now, huh?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Now let's talk about that skinny guy that plays center for the Dodgers that forgot to hit and is being linked to our baseball team.
Well, he's a leaner gentleman, but I would say he's still a pretty big cat. Cody Bellinger, the Dodgers outfielder, first baseman, possible non-tender candidates in the city of Los Angeles. The non-tender deadline is December 2nd, so still a while until then, and a lot of teams wait pretty much right up against the deadline as well. Arbitration projection, according to MLB Trade Rumors, $18 million. But Sam, Cody Bellinger is a tale of two very different 3-year spans as a major league player. He was one of the largest offensive threats really in the entire sport his first 3 years. 2017, he was Rookie of the Year. 2019, he was MVP. But he has really struggled the last three, and that's impacted what his future could be.
Why is he being linked to the Cubs? Very simple, right? Here's a guy that, and when you introduced him, you said center field, first baseman. If he's a center fielder, and he's a good one defensively. So we've talked about ad nauseum on this show. Defensive center field is a need for the Cubs. After you go get that middle infielder, after you go get that big horse starting pitcher, you need some defense in center field. And Cody Bellinger would provide that. Now, at what cost, Matt? It can't. I wouldn't do a deal. He's probably looking for a 1-year prove-it deal to sign a bigger deal with somebody else. So maybe they can get together on like a 1-year, $10 million deal. It does make sense, right? The Cubs aren't looking for a long-term center fielder because they're long-term center fielders in the minor leagues. So, it does make sense. Obviously, the bat is a huge question. He's a liability offensively right now. He doesn't hit left-handers. He doesn't hit right-handers. 654 OPS for this season. I believe he hit about 210. I checked today. And it wasn't even an everyday player for the Dodgers in the postseason. However, he is better than Jackie Bradley Jr. He is better than Kevin Kiermaier. What's the price? I don't know.
Well, I think your price is actually a pretty good projection, very fair. A lot of players that get non-tender typically don't sign multi-year deals because there was a reason for their release, so to speak. And so a prove-it deal is a good option for them. Brace yourself at home, but the 1-year, $10 million after a non-tender was exactly what Kyle Schwarber got with Washington.
I was going to say this is very similar to the Schwarber situation, albeit I don't think Schwarber dipped down this bad offensively, but he also didn't have the glove that Cody Bellinger had. So I think a 1-year prove-it deal for Bellinger, see what you get out of him. He could really help you in the 2022 season. It makes sense to me. I'm intrigued by it. Oh, I haven't used that word in a while. As Fields finds Mooney for a gain of 20. Like I said, we've talked about Jackie Bradley, right, Matt? We've talked about Kiermaier. This would be an upgrade from those guys, don't you think?
I think so. You get a little nervous looking at Bellinger's numbers, and you were right about the 210. Slugged 389 in 144 games. He was hampered by injury a lot in 2020 and 2021, but this season he played a full year and just really really struggled. But he's left-handed. He has power, plus defensively offers some versatility, playing center and first base.
Yeah, he's not going to play first here.
But he could.
Wrigley, change of scenery, smaller ballpark, contract year. It all makes sense for the Cubs.
He's way better than JBJ and Kiermaier. I mean, it's not even close.
Right. So at a 1 year, $10 million clip, if you could afford it, plus Abreu, plus
they
Correa,
could afford
plus
it.
Rodon, and let's take it all the way to October.
They could absolutely afford it. I don't want to hear anything about the price for a 1 or 2 year deal.
All right. Well, then
though we're doing a talk show, so I certainly could hear about it.
Can we say publicly that we agree that we're on board with the Cody Bellinger signing? We both believe that makes sense.
I'm on board, and after this episode, I will be adding him to my projected lineup, which I've projected, a few different times. I write it in pencil. You write your plans in pencil, and so I'll raise Kiermaier's name. He was in the last lineup, and I'm going to add Cody B, as I'm going to call him.
Now, let me ask you this. Who would you rather have if you only could have one?
Oh, here we go. Rafael Ortega or Cody Bellinger?
No, Abreu or Bellinger?
Well, that's a hard question. And boy, do you have some and I'm glad it's taken you 80 episodes to find some host chops.
Come at the skinny Jewish kid.
That's really hard.
Bully me.
I would say I'd rather have what?
Come here every day. I try my best to produce content for our audience, and what do? You just ridicule me.
No, that's not true.
1 point for the Italian.
I would rather have Jose Abreu. If I had to choose, if they said, hey, you can only have one.
Yeah,
it would be Abreu. I would say probably with. I don't want to say with flying colors, but
because
my instinct says Abreu.
Yeah, but why not with flying colors? Because as players, Abreu's way better. The answer is because Bellinger fills more of a need.
He does. I was thinking about this today. This is a position for the Cubs that has been shaky since when?
Since that was going to be Dexter Fowler.
So 6 years?
We talked, by the way, you might not remember, it's probably 28 episodes ago. We talked about that. Since Dexter Fowler, it's been a revolving door of mediocrity to bad at that position. Remember 1 year we just had Hayward playing out of position there. That didn't work on either side of the ball. Hap, that didn't work on either side of the ball. Ortega.
Well, I think you skipped some people.
Hermosillo, Almora.
Right.
When's the last time Almora got a base hit to right center?
Yeah, I think it was 2016.
Yeah.
No. But when you say both sides of the ball, you got to be careful because I'm thinking about the Chicago Bees last night in Foxborough.
Speaking of both sides of the ball, Brisker looks like he might be a Pro Bowler.
You'd like to see the Cubs make a run at him. Of course, the Dodgers actually have to non-tender Bellinger. We're going to mention some potential moves for them later in the show as well. But if they end up doing that, the Cubs got to be in the front of the line. It's got to be at a 1 or 2 year price, I would think.
It's a perfect fit for both
2019.
For both sides.
Listen to these numbers in 2019.
Can I take a guess?
Yes, that'd be great.
That's the year he won the MVP, right?
Yeah. Do you want to do his slash line first, or his OPS, or
over that other cheater, that Yelich guy? I'll say his OPS was definitely over 1,000.
Correct.
I'll say he hit about 324,
309.
309. How many homers did he hit that year? Let's go with 44.
Again, if this was Price is Right, you'd be doing real well. He hit 47.
Okay.
How about
Um,
runs batted in?
that's going to be 131.
Wow, a little bit high, touch high, 115.
Oh, what kind of MVP is this?
34 doubles. And how about Cody Bellinger on the base pads that year? Stolen bases. Do you care to venture a guess?
I wouldn't have even realized that he got a lot, but since you're saying it, let's
Yeah,
go
a
with
good amount. A good
25.
amount.
25.
A little bit lower.
Yeah, 18.
That's gonna be 15.
Oh, that's not that many. What kind of
Okay.
MVP campaign is this?
Okay. It was a good one.
What?
Um,
MVP? It sounds like Barry Bonds on the Pirates if he played half a year.
you know, it's interesting you brought up Abreu because it's so similar because there are prospects who are poised to graduate soon at those positions or even split time next year. In the case of first base with Mervis. And so um, yeah, very, very eerie how similar that is. Is it possible they could get both in addition to a shortstop, in addition to a pitcher?
Oh, of course it's possible. I don't write the checks, but the
I think
Bellinger
it's time for that.
the Bellinger thing just makes so much sense because Bellinger needs a place where he could perform and be on a stage for 1 year, and the
Mhm.
Cubs need a 1-year rental center fielder until PCA is ready. Make that marriage happen. It's very interesting.
He would keep that position safe until PCA or whoever else is ready. And as everyone knows, athletes rise and fall in the ranks, but when it comes to saving money, Simply Safe always stays on top. And right now, you can save big with Simply Safe Home Security. They're giving listeners 40% off their advanced security system. Simply Safe was just named the best home security of 2022 by US News. Because of Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters with 24/7 professional monitoring. When a threat is detected, Simply Safe's monitoring professionals promptly contact you and dispatch first responders to your home, even if you're away or unable to respond. Simply Safe blankets your home with protection with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and outside, and smarter ways to detect motion that only alert you when a threat is real. Don't miss this chance to save big when you protect your home with the best. Get 40% off your order when you visit simplysafe.com/lockedonmlb. That's simplysafe.com/lockedonmlb. Go there right now. There's no safe like Simply Safe. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. And whenever and wherever you may be listening, check in with us regarding just that on our text line 312-834
4634.
4634. We'd love to hear where you're listening from as well. We continue our player grades this episode, and we dig into the relief pitching pool with right-hander Rowan Wick. Sam, take it away.
Do you have his numbers handy? Because
I
do.
have his numbers.
Okay, yeah. Tell the people his
What were
numbers
Fields'
first.
numbers last night?
The numbers didn't tell the story. I know he ran for 82 rush yards, threw a touchdown and a pick, but he passed the eye test with flying colors. Go ahead with Wick, please.
Rowan Wick, career high in appearances with 64. He saved 9 ball games. He had a strikeout to walk ratio of 69-29, 1.68 whip, and a 4.22 ERA. He did end the season in a strong fashion with a 2.08 ERA and a 13-4 strikeout to walk ratio in his last 12 innings pitched. Rowan Wick was it didn't excite you that much. There was times where he was really poor. There was certainly a lot of inconsistency with the velocity. He has a high ceiling in terms of the spin rate with the breaking ball, in terms with the velo, especially up in the zone. Whether he could actually execute those pitches is another thing. He really didn't pitch much his first 3 years with the Cubs, at least in the shortened 20 season he did. But in 19, he made 31 appearances, and in 21, only 22 games. So this was really his first big year on the major league level, and he was only okay.
Some advanced analytics stuff with Wick. 11 hits per 9 innings. 9.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. Excuse me. Oh, I thought I had to sneeze there. Lowest for Wick since he's been a Cub, that 9.7 strikeouts per 9. Like you said, 1.68 whip, way too high. Gives up almost a homer and a half per 9 innings.
Oof.
His FIP, fielding independent pitching, 4.19 to his ERA, 4.22. So basically, his ERA was very deserving. I would give this a flat D as in dog. I think Rowan Wick was expected to make a large jump this year, and I didn't see it. I was disappointed. Right. Way too volatile of a pitcher. When you're a reliever, you have to be steady and consistent. He would have a couple good weeks. He'd have a couple of other weeks where it looked like he'd be better off in Iowa. This is somebody that I do not feel comfortable relying on in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning of a tight ball game.
Wow. Well, that doesn't do you much good. I'm going to give him a C- as I continue maybe a little bit of an easy grader streak.
Not at all. Not at all.
Rowan Wick. Grade. Yeah. And here's the thing with him. Okay. So you don't trust him in 7th, 8th, or 9th frames. What is his role? Because it's not to finish games. That's been extinguished, right? But even to set up. So then what's your role?
His role might be to do that exact same thing for the Kansas City Royals.
Because you have 8 relievers.
No, I don't get it.
They're not all
Wick needs a makeover,
but
he needs a makeover. I trust Mark Leiter Jr. much more than I trust Rowan Wick right now. How about you?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
thanks for bringing his event. We got to start bringing up these names again because I miss Mark Leiter Jr.
Man, can that guy get outs?
Wow, that guy could really pitch in September, huh?
Sure.
Wick is arbitration eligible, 1.5 M's, according to MLB trade rumors for his figure on price. And I would say he's a very firm non-tender candidate. He'll be free to go wherever he wants if he is non-tendered and becomes a free agent. With so many Rule 5 decisions on the 40-man, my instinct would be to say he is going to be non-tendered. Do you think the Cubs keep him around?
I don't have the answer to that. I really don't.
Because you could rework a deal with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's other teams that could be interested at a low price.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he could be the type of guy that gets hot next year because he does have some good stuff. But to me, it's just like he's just a fastball curve guy. And neither one of those pitches I would consider elite. And when one of them's off, he's unpitchable. So unless he adds a third pitch, I don't really see that the upside with Rowan Wick. But bullpen guys are tough to predict. You never know.
We're going to reveal the organizational all-stars for the Cubs in minor league baseball this year. We're going to do that next. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making this your first listen every day. Minor League Baseball, MILB.com, released on Monday their organization all-stars for the Cubs. And the Cubs had a lot of success in the minors in 2022, including a lot of winning baseball, teams winning championships or even runners-up or strong playoff runs. I would like to list all of these players, Sam. What do you think about that?
I think I could. Yes, please.
So the 2 starting pitchers, Luis Devers and DJ Hertz, relief pitcher Riley Martin, catcher Adon Sanchez, first base Matt Mervis, second base Chase Strumpf, third base Jake Slaughter, shortstop Andy Weber, outfield Darius Hill, Alexander Canario, and Pete Crow Armstrong. A lot of big names in there, a lot of names that we could follow up on a later episode as well.
Darius Hill.
It's good to see it all. Yeah, Darius Hill, I believe, is Rule 5 eligible. So they're going to have a decision to make whether to put him on the 40-man. All he did was hit with the I Cubs this year.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's so funny how you underestimate how deep any organization is, right? Because there's a lot of names on there that we haven't spoke about once and may never speak about again that had phenomenal years in the minor leagues, but aren't considered
Yeah,
high level prospects, but
right?
it does. But they deserve their recognition.
But they were productive. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Right.
Another productive player this year was Aaron Judge. I know you have comments on an MLB.com report from today about him.
Yeah, not just MLB.com. I find it interesting. There's a lot of buzz with some of my group chats, some of
Uh
my that he's going to go to the Dodgers,
huh. Right.
and I just think that's asinine. The Dodgers just won 111 games last year. They didn't get beat by the Padres in a 5-game series because they didn't have Aaron Judge. We just watched Aaron Judge have a very less than stellar postseason. I want to see teams start to make moves with more of an eye towards October. We know the Dodgers are going to be there. They're loaded, assuming they re-sign Trey Turner. They're going to get Bueller back. They got Urias. They're probably going to get another year out of Kershaw, Anderson, Gonsolin. They're loaded with pitchers. They're loaded with players. Well, don't ruin it. Oh, now you got to get Judge and you're built. How great do you have to be to win 3 out of 5 in October? As you always say, as I always say, that's a team that needs to improve on the margins, right? They weren't ready to play in October and they got beat by a team that was hungrier than they were. Don't go, oh, well, we're just going to go get the best guy in the game now. Come on.
So what's being ruined? And are the Dodgers doing the ruining?
I just don't think I just think it's such an unnecessary acquisition.
Right.
Like this, it just doesn't.
Well, yeah, it is, but they could do it.
I know they could do it, and God bless them for their TV deal. I just, as a baseball fan, I don't want to see Aaron Judge in a Dodger uniform. I don't think that serves any purpose to any neutral.
I don't think it necessarily helps the sport one iota.
Yeah, and as a Cub fan, and as somebody that foresees this window starting to creep open, that would really close it.
Well, no, I was just going to say, and speaking of windows, we're going to have a string of 50s and 60s coming up in terms of temperature.
And for those that are asking about my softball league, yes, Thursday night we do play our first postseason game. I helped lead my team to the postseason with a 4-2 record. Started out a little bit rocky. If I had to compare myself to somebody that we all are fond of, I'd say Ben Zobrist is my role. I'm not hitting the ball with tons of power, but I'm getting on base at a rapid rate. Defensively, I'm not making mistakes, and I'm leading.
You should do a lockdown now after the game Thursday.
That would be funny.
And then have them do graphics over it. Hey, if Aaron Judge goes to the Dodgers, that's okay. We'll just the Cubs will beat them next October.
Oh, really?
So,
yes. I don't know. I just think, look, basketball has this when Durant went to Golden State.
Right. It's like the big team concept.
And in baseball, the super team doesn't work because in a 5-game series in baseball, you could literally put Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and all the best guys on one team, and they could easily lose 3 out of 5 in Detroit. It's a random game, and you got to figure out how to be locked in and locked on when it matters most. And the Dodgers weren't this year.
All right, so coming up the rest of this week, we're gonna have more player grades. We'll talk about potential transactions, and we'll do some other stuff as well, including any news that breaks throughout the week. We've had a lot of news the last couple of weeks. There was the Bellinger news today, and we were excited to talk about it. So we'll keep an eye on all these things. Anything else?
It's just always a pleasure to talk to you and our great audience. I love my favorite thing to do right now during work is during lunch, check the YouTube comments because we've been getting.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really cool.
Wow.
I love the engagement. I love the ideas. I love the bonding. I love it all. And
it's very exciting.
It's going to be really fun when we clinch the division September 22nd next year.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button on all your favorite Locked On Cubs content, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember to drop us a text, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Now make your second the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Locked On Sports Today is our 22-minute recap of the previous night in sports. It features local experts on each of the big stories, as well as the take of the day from one of the Locked On hosts. For Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.